For those of you who saw the recording of last week and Irene's session, no surprise, it was amazing. And next week, while I have you here, before you jump off, I'll say this again at the end of it. Deb Smith Owens will be on next Saturday's call. You know, the Attorney State's ambassador, incredible resource. She's been doing loan signings and been a notary for a very long time. As far as a human being, one of the nicest human beings I personally know. So definitely hop on next week. She will have plenty to say, especially specifically marketing to attorneys. Now, I'm in Maryland, which is an attorney state, but I refer to it as an attorney light state, or attorney state light, like light beer. The attorneys are involved, but they're only involved because they have to review the deed and sign off on the deed. They're preparing the deed for the transaction. The rest of it is really most of the time handled by the title company, unless it's an attorney, a small attorney office. So we have them, but not as prevalent as North Carolina, Georgia, et cetera. So if you're in one of those harder attorney states, Delaware, West Virginia, New York, definitely tune in next week, because Deborah can really shed some expertise on her, ability to network and connect with attorneys and what offer she, what value she brings. But based on Irene's call, since we don't really have a set layout for this, is mainly Q&A, I will just give you the 30,000-foot view of who the heck I am if you don't know who I am. I am the ambassador for the loan signing system for the DMV, which, if you're not from the area, just stands for, the D is for DC, the M is for Maryland, where I live, and the V is for Virginia. That's the main part. I'm also a signing service owner, been a notary signing agent. My first signing ever was October 20th, 2020. And a few months later, in February, I was turning down a lot of offers from my clients that were direct. And to add value to them, I started a signing service March 10th of 2021. And so it's been a little over 3 years. And so that's really where I spend most of my focus. And I don't really do too many loan signings on a month. I would say I do an average of 3 or 4 for one particular client who's very local to me and who we are really close. If you've seen the conference recordings, his name is Michael Straub. He was one of the escrow officers from the 2022 San Diego conference. So you'll see him on that panel. And so we're pretty close. So I'll still take care of his stuff occasionally when he needs my help. But other than that, I focus on the signing service. And then obviously the monthly coaching here and the monthly coaching in the DMV that I hold. And then if you don't already know, I'm also on YouTube, almost 1,000 subscribers. So you've probably seen my stuff. If not, it's at Superlative Signings, same as our company, Superlative Signings. But that is just mainly content for notaries, whether you're at the beginning, intermediate, or even advanced. So I have everything from starting to start a signing service and everything in between. So check out that, and hopefully you'll enjoy that content. All right, I don't see anyone in the waiting room, so we will get started. And if you haven't, more in-depth stuff about me is just check out Mark's channel. I've done a couple interviews with him over the years, one more recently this year, as far as just backstory and content, and really mindset stuff is really what I love to get into. But on here, we're going to do office hours, X's and O's. So we have roughly 20 of us so far, minus Bill, Ashley, and myself. Everyone else should be here to get some value. So it is in your best interest to ask questions. There is no judgment here. No one cares. Just ask your question, take notes. And then in the meantime, what we'll do is, to get started, hit the raise hand button in the reaction bar at the bottom there. And I'll just go in order as I see them and try to keep it relatively short and sweet. That way everyone can get their questions in. Obviously, you can always continue to hop in and ask more questions. Now, normally when I do Q&As, whether it's for Mark or for CNM or for DMV, I'm going to be on here as long as I need to be on here to answer questions. So I don't have a hard stop at an hour. I'm happy to go beyond. If you're continuing to ask your questions, always happy to provide that value. But with that being said, let's get started. First up, looks like Liz.
I don't know why I'm on Ashley's thing. That's really weird. But okay, I'm here. Hi guys, I'm Liz. I'm the Nevada ambassador for Loan Signing System. And Brad, I see that you're killing it. I need help getting on social media. I hate social media. I love all the videos that you're doing, and I need to start doing that. So tips and tricks on how to
Sure.
get started, the programs that you're using to edit and do all your fancy stuff on social media that you're doing.
Yeah, happy to answer. Thank you for being here, Liz. So Mark just literally yesterday, 2 days ago, he did a social media training. He kind of expanded on his training, which you probably, I think you might have been on. I think you were on that. Yeah, yeah. So I hopped in at the end, but that was pretty good. And I get most of my notes from Mark on that. So if you haven't watched that, circle back in the Circle app and rewatch that recording whenever it's uploaded from Thursday. Um, and then similar notes that he had from the conference in San Diego or Vegas a couple of years ago. He did one on this. But as far as social media for me, I used to do it all by myself. So I would film and then edit it using CapCut and mix captions. I would first put it in mixed captions, minute or less video, and get the captions on there that I like the look of, and then I would export that to CapCut, and then get the actually, what did I do? Yeah, yeah, that's how it was. It's been a minute since I've had to do it. And then I would go to CapCut and finish it up however I wanted to do overlays or whatever. Once I added YouTube, I realized I do not want to edit a 30-minute video. It's just not my skill set. It's not something I want to learn. So that is when I reached out to Dylan True, our Orlando ambassador in Florida. And I asked Dylan, I see you on your Instagram. You have some videos that look pretty cool as far as editing. What are you using or who are you hiring to do it? And he said, hey, I'm using a virtual assistant in the Philippines, this younger guy in his mid-20s named Chris. I'll connect you to. And then so I just reached out to Chris and just said, hey, I'm trying to do 15 one-minute videos a week and 2 long-form YouTube videos a week. What's the bill for that? And here's the discount. So he's very flexible. So I would definitely 100% recommend him if that's what you're trying to do, a lot of short form. He's very flexible in pricing, and it's going to be much cheaper than if you're hiring a US based person. I can just guarantee you that. As far as how I film it, it's literally one day a week. I will carve out about 3 hours. And that, again, that includes YouTube. If I'm just doing the shorts, it would be about 2 hours. And I literally have multiple outfits hanging up. And so every 3 or 4 videos, I'll change outfits, which is really just changing my shirt. So it doesn't look like I filmed 15 straight videos. Wearing the same thing. And but prior to the actual filming, right before I set up the camera, I will go on to just a Word document and that I save week to week. And it says content list for this week. And I'll just go in and go through my 15 video subjects I'm going to do. Now, again, what Mark talked to you 2 days ago, once you get 30 days of content or 60 days of content, you're just recycling the same thing because everyone starting at the top of your funnel hasn't seen your old content. So you're just doing a fresh take on that. So in this case, for me, my content is specifically geared toward how I solve problems for title companies as a signing service. Obviously, everyone else on the call besides Liz and Bill is going to be more like, how do I solve that problem as a signing agent? So for whoever your client is. But either way, I'll update that list of 15 topics and then get dressed, get my tripod and the camera, and the camera has a small boom mic on it, and then just film. And that part takes me about 2 hours between changing shirts 4 times and then all the outtakes basically. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower, but that's kind of how I do it. But as far as the magic of editing, that is all Chris. Because he's just really good at it, and I just decided to hire that out so that way I could save that time.
I love
But I'm
that.
still the one that's posting. I'm still the one that's posting 2 to 3 times a day on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'm not on TikTok. I never will be, but it's just not my deal. That's more Irene's specialty.
Yes.
I'm also 42 years old, so I'll just say what it is, what it is. Any other like social media specific questions I can answer there?
No, so as of right now, you're not automating the posting either, right? You're just going in there and posting every day.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
question. So the reason I don't automate is because I don't have a huge bulk of content because I'm filming every single week. So what Chris will do, and I didn't finish that thought, was that I'll film all that in 2 or 3 hours, upload it to Google Drive that he has access to, and then He'll do his thing, but literally, so 6 a.m., 7 a.m. my time every day, he's hitting me up on Facebook Messenger. Here's your 2 shorts for the day, and also here's the 2 thumbnail covers for them. So I'm getting those 2 a day. So I guess in theory I could wait and then or I could post the older stuff that I still have access to in Google Drive and bulk post that way. You could 100%. But because I'm constantly filming new stuff, I don't, but you definitely could for sure. Especially if you have a good library, you could definitely, at least for the week, for sure, have it automated. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'll hit you up for that contact info after.
Yeah. Anyone else? Actually, I'll probably just drop his info in the chat. Actually, let me go the way what his email is. Don't know where the chat box is. Okay. All right. Well, his first name is Chris. Last name is Vin Luan.
I'll put a hi on the chat. Maybe I'll give you a little pop-up.
And let me see. There it is. Perfect. Okay. So it's Chris.
I think you froze a little bit.
Yeah, super nice guy. Very, okay, sorry. I dropped that in the chat. I'm gonna go to Josetta Lopez. You have your hand up?
Yes. Hi, how are you? Can you hear me? Are you there?
I think Brad's frozen.
Oh no.
He's logging back in right now.
Okay.
I think it just dropped off. Internet problems.
So are you the host now, Liz?
I'm not, but I can answer questions. Will,
If you dropped off.
here. Let's see. Let's give him a chance.
Okay, I'm back. Hopefully you can hear me.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, I just had 2 quick
Okay.
questions. One, are
Okay.
there ever signings on Sunday? And 2, when did you wait for signings to come in solid before you quit the restaurant?
So yes, there are sightings on Sun-
I think he's having connection issues. It keeps
Okay.
disconnecting.
Yeah.
Okay, back again.
Okay, there you are.
Okay, Giuseppe,
Yes.
not much on Sunday.
Okay.
Very, very few for our signing service, but they do happen, depending
Okay.
on are your clients refi heavy or purchase heavy. And then more refi heavy, you'd have more on the weekends. And then to answer your second question, I think you said, how much did I prep before I left my job to transition?
Yeah, did you have a lot of signings like solid coming in before you quit the restaurant?
I did. It was 2020, so it was a ton of volume coming in from signing services. It was all signing services. And I just did it literally for 1 week, did 14 closings, which tells you how much volume it was at the time. And I just did the math and I was like, I'm out. So 2-week notice. And then after that, I was gone full time. I haven't ever looked back. But again, if it was current environment, if you told me now, I'd probably get 20 to 30 under my belt, maybe a month in to see, okay, what's the volume looking like? And then also it's a personal choice. How much money do you have set aside? That kind of thing
That's a call.
before you make that decision.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good questions. Tiffany Revioso, you're up.
Hi, hi. First off, love working with your signing service. I'm up in New
Thank
York
you.
City, so you guys keep me pretty busy. So I just have a question. I know you mentioned earlier that you make your videos to kind of focus around how you can provide value to title companies. So as a signing agent right now, who's just now taking it full time, like as of this month, like it's going to be full time, which I'm really excited about. But as for content, and helping other notaries that are also trying to break into this space, how do you, as a signing service owner, how would you like to see a signing agent sort of show you like their value to you?
So for me, it's very straightforward. It's all I care about is, are you going to take care of my clients? That's the main thing. That's the number one priority.
Mhm.
Right behind it, number two is going to be communication. You're going to over communicate. Three is you're going to be professional and you're going to handle issues that come up at the table by one, communicating to us, but by two, calling us from the table. So in order of importance. So for me, when I read bios that say, hey, I'm all about the client experience. I will handhold if necessary. I love walking them through the documents and making sure that they have a great experience from start to finish. That's the most important. The rest of the stuff I can teach you. I cannot teach you to take good care of people and to not be an asshole. Pardon my language. But I run into on a daily basis a lot of douchebags that are notaries that we don't work with. Now they may fly under the radar. We accidentally hire them and then we no longer work with them again. But so it's always the 80-20 rule. So number one, just focus on how you're going to provide great value to them by a smooth signing experience and really taking care of them. That's the most important, because what's important to us is that retain who don't treat them right, we won't retain our clients potentially. So that is a huge risk when we hire. So that's the number one concern most owners are going to have. Schedulers signing, their main concerns are more so because they're not the owners. That like clients come and go, like they don't care, they're getting a paycheck. But their concern is communication, calling from the table, over communicating. Hey, I'm at the signing 10 minutes early. Shoot me an email or text. Hey, I just finished the signing. Scans will be up in 30 minutes. Like most people don't do it, but just really over communicating.
Okay. And then while I have you, another quick question. How I know that I think I actually sent you a thank you card a while back, and you actually got back to me, thanked me for that. Is that something that, going forward, like maybe I think it would be better when you were getting started. Was that something that you wish, you would have done like that afterwards sort of marketing? Or is it just kind of more so like, if you're available, when you're available, we'll do business, rather than like, seeking out that signing agent that maybe sent you like a card or marketed to you afterwards?
Yeah, so it's an effective form of marketing because most people don't do it. So most people won't call, they won't send a thank you card, and they won't leave us a Google review. Those are the three. In order of the rarest, it is leaving a Google review, because the owner of the company will get that email that says, hey, someone has left you a Google review. It's the hidden hack. I tell people, still don't do it. Two is send a thank you card. That's right out of Mark's course. Just do it. Again, helps you stand out. Again, because it goes to the owner's home. They have to walk to the mailbox, but you will stand out. And three is a call. But either way, that will help get you on their radar and at least gets your attention. It buys you the 5 seconds. And if they don't automatically add you to the referred list, that is your prime time to follow up and say, hey, did you get my thank you card? Did you get my Google review?
Okay.
And then again, reiterate, it was a pleasure working with you, like you just did to lead the call off. Could you add me to your preferred? You're already on our preferred list, but in this case, and to follow up and ask. But if you don't ask, you won't get it. So those are very good, useful techniques.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
My pleasure. Daniel Maldonado, you're up, sir.
Oh, hello. My mic wasn't muted the whole time. Wow. I wanted to say I really actually generally consume your content. It's super helpful. Your story is definitely very inspiring, and I am definitely being vulnerable. I guess this is what this group is for. And so I know you always emphasize on, not being negative, staying away from negative content, and kind of, if you see that there's like a page and there's like a lot of exposure to that, kind of divvying away from that. So, that is something that I have internalized a bit. But right now, I find myself in a unique situation. I'm up in northern New Jersey, and it's a very dense state. There's a lot of notaries around me, and I have just began. I haven't done a single signing. I've signed on to all of the major platforms, and I have contacted about 250 of the people on the signing services list. And
Mhm.
it's been about a month. Um, there have been notifications. I've gotten only 3 notifications.
Mhm.
And they were low, but I tried my best to accept them. One I actually got, and it was canceled. Sometimes the ones that are
Okay.
really, really low, like they can get kind of finicky. So I'm about like a month in, and
Mhm.
I'm emailing everyone, calling everyone. Um, I'm about to start adopting, like, re-sending that email out, like checking back in with all the companies that I actually have contacted. But yeah, so this is a vulnerable thing to share, like the beginning of a journey and the hardships. Obviously, times are different, and I'm in New Jersey. I don't know if that affects anything, but I wanted to know, do you have any wisdom to impart for someone who's just really at the beginning and, with these new circumstances, if that makes any sense?
Yeah. Thank you for number one, asking the question, because everyone else on the call is going to get some value from this. And number two, I appreciate, as Mark would say, that you're being vulnerable and telling us what your experience is. So I'm going to fire some just quick questions at you. Just shoot me some quick answers. So you said you reached back out via phone and email to 200 and some signing services. Is that all? Have you called them all? Have you emailed some? Like, what's the mix are we talking about?
So I call every one of them, and
Okay.
then I leave an email. I'm more responsive to voicemails. If I hear a voicemail, I'm more liable to send an email. Because I don't always send an email, but I am sending emails for most of the services I'm contacting. Um, and so yeah, I do call, I leave a voicemail, and then I also shoot out an email to the best possible channel. Sometimes I have some pretty incredible interactions. Sometimes people,
Mhm.
all across that, list are like, thank you so much for calling. We really appreciate that. We'll definitely, keep you down as a preferred notary at some point. And I don't ask that right off the bat. They kind of say that if I just inquire about, being able to help them and provide my services.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, so that's kind of been what my strategy has been thus far.
Okay.
Um, I hope that answers your question.
It does. So follow up. So when you call and you get a voicemail, do you call back until you actually speak to a live human being at a
No, I
later?
haven't done that. I'll leave a voicemail, but I haven't.
Okay.
I go on my spreadsheet and I
Sure.
color code everyone who does answer, don't
Mhm.
answer, is out of my range. Like I'm
Okay.
organizing it and divvying it up, if that makes
What's
sense.
what's out of your range mean?
Well, if I contact a signing service and they say, "Oh, we don't work in Jersey, sorry," like just want to let you know, then I will,
Okay.
like categorize that appropriately, if that makes
Understood.
sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very. And then, so of that list, how many of you actually called and spoke to a live human being? Just give me a ballpark percentage.
I would say like 90 to 100 people in the list actually have answered, and I'm able to speak to scheduling or, and I've had pretty positive interactions. It's
Okay. What are you
really
what are you
nice.
specifically at? What is when you actually get through for those 90 to 100,
Mhm.
what are you specifically saying? Give me an
Normally I
example.
say, yeah, absolutely. First I start off by kind of humanizing the situation a bit. I'll say, how's your day going?
Okay.
And normally that usually stops them on their tracks, and they're like, oh, this is odd. Like someone's asking me how my day is going. So they normally answer and they're very pleased and happy. And
Mhm.
then I introduce myself. Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm a notary signing agent based out of New Jersey. I just wanted to reach out and provide a proper introduction.
Mhm.
And then I say something along the lines of, do you guys do any business in the Jersey area? And then usually they might say yes or no. And if they say no, I'll say, well, either way, I absolutely appreciate your time. And you never know, you guys might expand. Can I shoot you my details? And then I'll shoot them my details. And then if they say yes, I kind of give myself a little, give them a little pitch, like, well, I just want to let you know that, your clients would be my absolute priority. And then I would list some of my credentials, just a few, not to bombard them, like, I'm, insured and blah, blah, blah. And like, I would specify my intentions and my qualifications. And then usually it might go by pretty well, and they'll be like, okay, well, thank you so much. We'll definitely, either sign up on this platform, or, we'll definitely, put you on on another list, and there'll be like another sort of uh, like sector for them to like place me in, like another list of some kinds. And then some of them will just be straight out like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for calling. We're gonna make you a preferred notary. Like, like and it's very positive. Usually it's very positive each time. Yeah.
Good. Daniel, what's your zip code?
07042.
You. Sorry, just while we're talking, I just trying to pull up your profile and signing order.
Yeah.
All right. So while that's doing its thing, so just real quick on the actual call, I love that your intro is to ask how your day's going, because it is a pause or pattern interrupt. So that's perfect. So keep that, love that, because it doesn't come across as salesy. I will just give you some feedback on what I love and what I don't, and take it if you want to take it or not. But so don't ask them if you have any business in Jersey. It's a waste of your time and their time. Here's why. Because most signing services are national, even if they only have closings in, 40 of the states, 10% of the time, and they focus on where their clients are, they still have the ability to be national. The other part of it is some people will take it personally, like, oh, you think I only am doing business in my state? Like I'm a small time person. So I wouldn't ask that question. We get it in emails too. Notaries will say, hey, do you have business in, or even on LinkedIn, people send me messages like, yes, I have business across the country. Like, I don't take it either way. I'm good, but like some people could take it negatively. I wouldn't ask that question. It's not really getting you anywhere. Love the pattern interrupt. I would just literally start with, I just want to introduce myself. I am a notary signing agent. I would love to get added to your preferred list because I love taking care of clients by doing XYZ, holding their hand, walking through the documents, whatever. I wouldn't go too deep on credentials. Everyone I work with has E&O. Everyone I work with has background check. Everyone I work with is NNA certified. Not everyone I work with is loan signing system certified. Not everyone I work with over communicates, and not everyone I work with is willing to actually walk people through documents and hold clients' hands, because most of them are transaction based, not relationship based. So hit the things that make you different, not what everyone else has. And do always hard sell. It's always, how can I get added to your preferred list? Now, I don't know you from a hole in the wall, but because you were very nice at the beginning and asked how my day was going, I appreciate that. I could actually vent positive or negative on my day. And the fact that you sound like you're going to stand out, that you're different than every other notary I'm seeing most of the time, which is transaction-based, not relationship-based. And you have this training, loan signing system, that most people don't have. That all interests me. And I'm either going to be super happy and be like, yes, let me add you to my preferred list now. What's your zip code? Because that's how I can find you on signing order quickly to look at your profile. And also to also verify that what you're telling me is not BS. I can do that simultaneously while having the conversation. And then also, even if they're not ready to add you to the preferred list, just say, how can I be added to your preferred list? What would it take to be added to your preferred list? And they'll tell you, I need you to do at least 2 or 3 signings or whatever it is, but at least you'll have information for that signing service if it's not right away. But the whole point of getting more than 3 notifications in your first month to get your phone blowing up is you have to be on the very top, or you have to be on preferred list or favorites list, period, with as many signing services as humanly possible. So number 1, you have to ask for it 100% of the time. Number 2, you have to call and speak to a live human being 100% of the time. So call back and continue to call back until you reach a live human being for all, however many you have, 215 or so. And 3, update what you're saying. Keep it short. If you're sending an email follow-up, same deal. This is where I see notary signing agents just shoot themselves in the foot. The email follow-up is, again, a solid paragraph or two, and it needs to be bullet points. Bullet points. Do not write a freaking paragraph. This is just everyone on the call, not just you, Daniel. But bullet points. And again, tell us what separates you, not how you're the same as everyone else, but what really truly separates you, and just focus on how you're going to take great care of the client and what makes you different, how you're going to over communicate, those kind of things. But yeah, you have to talk to a live human being for sure. That's my main coaching. I would shorten the script a little bit, ask how you can be added to the preferred list, and brief intro. So my other suggestion would be, you probably already have one. You probably have what you're saying written out when you're making those calls. I would just tweak it a little bit. So it's straight to the point after that initial icebreaker, and then get added to more preferred lists. And then if you're not seeing results, you don't have to leave a Google review or a thank you card for someone that you've worked with. You can do it preemptively. Here's a thank you card. Looking forward to working with you in the future.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. It all works because it all captures my attention.
Yeah.
This is, are you willing to do those things that other people are not willing to do? Which I know you are, because you're in this group and you're asking me a phone call or asking me a good question. So it tells me that your headspace is where it needs to be at. But that's what I would do. You just got to get added to more preferred lists, which means you got to just tighten up the initial approach and ask and just physically talk on the phone with everyone, and then maybe take another step beyond. Go to Walmart and get your, box of thank you cards for $10 and just start mailing them out. But that's all you need, because that way, when you're getting those texts, you're getting texts for jobs that are more desirable, because 100 people haven't already passed on it. So it's not 40 miles away for $10 for 5 signers for a reverse closing. It's 5 minutes down the street for a seller signing for $100, which is what you want. So that's really the biggest difference. Hope that helps.
That was extremely, words of wisdom. I do appreciate that. I will absolutely incorporate that feedback into my repertoire. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm a details guy, so I just keep talking. Laura, you are up next.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. How can I help?
I have questions about getting signed up. I'm in the process of signing up on the 300 companies basically that are mentioned in the mentorship. And I was just wondering, is there a way to share your credentials a little bit more easily across the signing services? I noticed that SnapDocs allows you to share to companies, but when I tried to enter in a signing service, it won't let me. I'm trying to minimize or I guess maximize efficiency time-wise. I don't know if you know. Yeah.
What credentials are you trying to share?
Well, the NNA certification and screening, the W-9,
Okay.
the LS, some of them allow you to upload additional certifications. So I put my LSS certificate on those. I think there's 5 in total, and it's not that time consuming, but with the amount of signing services I want to put myself on, I thought, is there a faster way to share?
Nope, there isn't. The
Okay.
most uncomfortable way is to call every single one of them, like I just told Daniel, but be organized as you are already, and make the notes. Did I talk to a live human being? What does it take to get added to their preferred list? And what was my follow-up? Or when am I following up? And
Okay.
that's it. It is at the very beginning of any business, but especially this one, it is a lot of grinding, calling, following up, also emailing. But the most efficient use of your time, to answer your question in its entirety, don't email anyone. Just call. I get plenty of emails a day from signing agents, but the most effective way is going to be to call, for sure, because you'll be able to cut through the noise. I can't delete your call when I'm talking to you on the phone. I can't put you in a spam. I can't mark your message as spam when I'm talking to you on the phone. I can hear on the phone if you have a smile on your voice or if you have your S together. So if you're talking about efficiency, just stick to calling and then update the list of who you called and just hit your list. And obviously, like Daniel said, you're going to get a lot of voicemails, which is fine. make the note, follow up the next day as you're doing 10 at a time, or whatever the number is for you. But that's the most efficient way, an uncomfortable way, but it's the fastest way to get through and get added to preferred lists, because it's a numbers game. If you make 300 calls, even if you only get 10% of people to add you to preferred lists, that's still 30 preferred lists you could potentially be on. That's a lot of text messages coming your way, especially if that signing service is anywhere near you geographically within a few states. So there's not really a good hack for that I know of, unfortunately.
Okay. No, that was super, super helpful. Actually, it's even better. So thank you. If I
Sure.
may ask another question.
Yeah, fire away.
Okay. I guess this is more geared toward direct marketing. But if a company doesn't respond, like a title company doesn't respond to like a follow-up email after you've gone into the office,
Mhm.
how long and in what method do you use to contact them again? I don't want to sound like super stocky, or super salesy and like impersonal, like I do care to build the relationships, but in one ear, with all the mentoring I've gotten around being a signing agent from various sources, in one ear, I'm hearing grind and it's a numbers game. And in the other ear, I'm hearing it's a flow process to build the relationship. So in terms of how I place myself in between all of that with my personality and my goals, I'm having a little bit of a hard time understanding like what method to use for the follow-ups after the first follow-up, if I don't get anything. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So for direct marketing, first touch point, if it's in office, what works for me is the same day, later that day, or the next morning, I usually bring in marketing baskets, and I usually reply, the subject line is gift basket, pleasure meeting you, and either B, I talked to you and I'm reiterating the conversation, the value I can add, or B, I didn't talk to you, I talked to someone up front, or you weren't there. And here's how it went. And by the way, here's how I can add value. Attached flyer, how we add value. You should have a few of those. And then I'm following up. For me, I do prospect follow-up emails every Tuesday, always have. And my existing clients, I do Monday morning emails from Robin Schmidt. And so to answer your question, my follow-up is every single week forever, period. Now, you can add unsubscribe links on there, and if people don't want to see your stuff, prospects or clients, they'll just unsubscribe and they won't get those weekly emails. That's fine. But at least you're being fair, giving them the option to unsubscribe, right? And if they haven't unsubscribed, clearly they still want to hear from you. It's just a matter of time. Now, I can tell you, if you don't want people to unsubscribe from you, you want it to be a value add email, however you can. So if it's for me, it's clients, my Monday email is, here's what we did this weekend, here's photos of my kids and whatever activities we were doing, etc. Tuesday, the prospect emails, this is the real value, and you'll get better as you go along, especially if you have a CRM that tracks open rates, click rates, reply rates, unsubscribe rates, like the one that's but offered by the loan signing system. But so my rates of open and reply, et cetera, have gotten better as I've just done this on a weekly basis. I find out what works and what doesn't work. It's a lot of testing, but every week, add an unsubscribe link in there. That way you can not feel bad about it. But it is what it is. You're a business. You have to be top of mind. And there are so many times that I have emailed someone and it took them 2 months, 8 months, 2.5 years, 5 years. Well, not 5 years. I've only been in business 3.5 years, 3.5 years to reply and say, hey, we have a need. How can you help us with this Ron closing, this bilingual closing, this Hawaii closing, this whatever closing? And it's just a matter of timing. But if you're always top of mind, you're always there when that need arises. So that's why I always go wide, and I am consistently there every week because it just works. Because someone will let them down, someone will be sick, double booked, drop out of the business, whatever.
Okay. And when you say emails, are you talking about, when you mentioned the unsubscribe link, are you talking about emails like blasted out from your website and not necessarily personal emails that you kind of give like a personal touch to after you've gone into like a title company? Or because that's the only place you could add an unsubscribe link, I know, but I just wanted to check if that's
anytime you have a CRM, you have the ability to, when you're sending emails that are connected to your inbox, to add unsubscribe links or track open open rates and stuff like that. So I use Fresh Sales, but again, Mark's LSS has a CRM that you can use, of course. Let me just give you a real quick example. Let me share my screen. So they're all going to look personalized for my clients because I always make sure I say good morning, client first name, and that shows up there. Now for my prospects, I'm trying to get to the point quickly. And I also am sending out literally 900 of these. So I spread it out throughout the day so I don't spam myself and lock myself out of my Gmail. But so I don't put good morning, first name, good afternoon, first name, because I'm sending it throughout the day. So I keep it real short and sweet. So I'll give you an example. I can show you email templates. I'm assuming everyone nod your head, you can see the screen, right? Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So this is in Fresh Sales. This is the email I sent this week, Tuesday. The email subject line was bank serve and Qualia are not my only options, question mark. I sent it to 907 people, 60% opened, 115% clicked on the links I put in there, which were to my website, my Google reviews, and to schedule a demo with me. Replies, unsubscribe. Okay. So whatever, 7 people unsubscribed. I don't care. But the point is, to get a 60% open rate on 900 prospect emails, that tells you I know what I'm doing. I'll pat myself on the back.
Yes.
I've had 10% or 20%. But again, as you send emails every week, you just get better. You find out what works, what doesn't work. So that's why having a CRM that tracks this is helpful. As far as what I'm saying in your email, specifically, I'm speaking to a problem that my clients have, that they are forced to use BankServe if they're a Fidelity agent, or recommended BankServe, and Qualia Marketplace if they're on Qualia, to find a signing service. And I speak to that. But you see how brief this email is. It's literally, we have Fidelity, non-Fidelity clients that have left them, meaning BankServe and Qualia, to use our services because we offer, here's 7 bullet points.
Yeah.
Also adding bold in there and some all caps in there, again, to get your eye focusing on random different places. And at the bottom, what do I have? A CTA, call to action. You think I'm foolish? Check out our 5-star Google reviews. There's a link to our 5-star Google reviews. Have questions? Visit our website, Superlative Signings, or schedule a platform demo. That's my calendar link. Boom. That's it. Real short and sweet. So the prospect email, to answer your question, is not going to be super personalized because I don't know you yet.
Yeah.
I barely know you. I've met you once for 2 minutes. But also with the follow-up, I also am, sorry, I got 2 people in the room here, waiting here, boom, boom. I also, what they didn't cover is once I leave their office, I send them that initial email. I'm also following them and their company on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and engaging on their 3 recent posts. Even if those posts were from 4 years ago, I'm engaging on those most recent posts so that they will see my profile and they'll go to my Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and they'll see the 500 or 1,000 posts I have all about how I solve problems for title companies. And now I've physically seen them in person. I have sent them an email. I have engaged with their social media, and hopefully they have come to see my social media. I've got 4 contact points in less than 24 hours. If it takes 7 contact points to buy something, I'm already halfway there in one day. So that's why I do that. So shorten that sales cycle. But the follow-up, to answer your question, the emails are not super specific to them because I'm sending them to 900 people. Now you can get granular. You can sort them and tag them by this title company, and you can do it that way if you want. But so that's up to you. It depends on your approach. My approach is a little bit larger and wider because I'm targeting more people than you would probably be targeting. So when you're sending out 50 emails, you can 100% get more granular, more specific, and personal to them. But you can also put tags in there, company tag, stuff like that, their first name, their last name, et cetera. So you can add in, hi, Jane from 123 Escrow, or I love what 123 Escrow is doing with their social, like whatever you want to do. You can personalize it as much as you want.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. That was so helpful.
My pleasure. Tiffany, hang on one second because you've already asked a question. I'm going to skip to Michael and Patrice before I circle back to you. That's okay.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Thank you. Michael, you're up.
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Good, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've done a few signings for you. I really appreciate the business. Thank you for giving me
I
the
appreciate
chance.
you taking care of our clients. Thank you.
Okay. So my question is, sorry, um, follow up with current client. Okay, nope, nope. How do we add value? Oh, sorry. It was all the way at the bottom. Percent of notaries you hire that are LSS trained or have specific training, like what is the percentage that have actual loan service training, and like how effective would you say like each type of notary which each train with each training that they have is for you and your business?
So you're asking how many people we hire that have specific trainings above and beyond
Hmm.
NNA, and also how good are they with their specific trainings? Am I hearing you right?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay.
just kind of wondering.
I,
I'm
I
just
couldn't
curious because
I could
I know
I couldn't
LSS is probably the best, but
I
you
couldn't
know.
quantify it because anymore because I don't work in the signing service day to day. I have a team that does that.
Mhm.
But I can tell you
Okay.
from experience I do have is that if you have additional training besides the NNA, that's a good sign. And for the most part, they are more knowledgeable. They have a little bit
Mhm.
better document expertise for sure. However, training is helpful for that document expertise, but what really separates people is all about how they treat people. That's it. How they treat my clients and how they treat my team. That's the biggest separator. And unfortunately, whether it's LSS or Notary 2 Pro or anybody else, it still comes down to the individual. So there are plenty of people, regardless of training, that are amazing. And there are plenty of people, regardless of training, that are terrible, not because they don't have the knowledge, because they're transaction based and they're just
Mhm.
not someone I want to do business with. So, but at least they were smart enough to get training, right? So at least even if they're
Right.
mean, they're a mean expert at what they do.
Mhm. Right. I always try to accommodate my clients the best I can. I think the other day we had a seller closing with you at a real estate office, and the lady there was she just finished her last chemo session, and she was like she said she might have been immunocompromised. I was like, "So, okay." So I broke out my N95 mask, sanitized all the pens, made sure everything was clean, and we signed. And she was really happy and really appreciated that. Um,
Good, thank you.
Oh, one other question.
Sure.
You mentioned CRMs.
Mm.
How much are CRMs to actually like subscribe to? Like, are they expensive? For like
No,
someone
no,
starting out?
no.
Like,
I mean, most are $100 or less a month. But again, I would steer you toward the loan signing system CRM because
mhm,
it's specifically designed for what we do. Every other CRM is, for the most part, way more than you'll need.
okay,
And just a headache sometimes to figure out where everything is and setting it up versus this is like, here's a tailor-made CRM for exactly what you do. That also gets you reviews and has all the other bells and whistles. So if you
mhm,
haven't set one up yet, I would steer you toward go with the loan signing system CRM personally.
okay. Is it already out? Like
Their
the
beta,
LSS
he
CRM?
was doing he was doing beta testing. I know it is about to come out. That's another announcement very, very, very
Mhm,
soon. So I
mhm.
would
Yeah.
either jump on beta testing or just wait a week or
Okay.
two for Mark
Okay.
or send him an email and ask him.
Okay. Cool. Because I was listening to Derek Van Otten's podcast a while back, and I think one of the guests who was Mark's partner said
Yeah,
that
Roman. Yeah.
Roman, yes, that they are experimenting with that
Yep.
and like a whole bunch of other different things that can help support notaries. So it's really cool to hear that it's actually really coming down the pipeline soon. So that's nice.
Yeah. This is the first of those things. The CRM is the next of those things. So very, very, very soon. So I would definitely kind of look into that.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Ms. Patrice, you are up. And then we'll jump to Tiffany after that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for today. And I echoing everybody else that you are giving like gold. So thank you, thank you.
Sure.
One of the not hurdles, I guess, but it's maybe a good problem to have. But because we're signed up with this program, and there was also like another coaching like mentor program where we got to connect on Facebook group. So this is separate from that, but because we're in here, we're already being marked as preferred for the LSS owned signing services. One of the things that I ran into is through going through my list, like I've sent an email, and then I've also like I reach out on Instagram if I can, or on TikTok if I'm connecting with somebody, but I don't have yet all of the names of who owns like what signing services. So as I was like emailing a signing service, I was following an individual, but I guess I didn't know she was like the owner. And so she's like, I already got your email. So how do I guess maybe get that knowledge so that I'm not like double spamming email and inbox, or is that okay? Does that bother you guys? I guess I more so want to be respectful of the time that you're not responding to me on Instagram, and then also like you've already marked me as preferred, so you don't need my email and introduction, or do I not? Am
Yeah, I wouldn't. You're overthinking it. Again, if like I'll give you an example. Vanessa Ashby, is she on the call? Probably. Yeah, she's here. Vanessa, I'll give you an example. She sent me a message on LinkedIn and sent me an email and maybe a third thing on Messenger. Again, if you want to get my attention, do that.
Yeah. So I'm perfect. That's exactly. I'm bugging. Like I don't want them to think I'm just like.
And it's not because you're bugging me. I'm trying to get rid of you. It's because I have a lot going on, as we all do.
Yeah.
So again, touch points. The more touch points you have, the more likely I am to use your service.
Awesome.
So
That's all.
Yeah, my pleasure. But just everyone on the call, do not worry about, at least on the newer side, as you're reaching out to clients, whether or not you're bothering them. It is doing business. It is how many ads do you get a day for Coke, Pepsi, whatever, on your TikTok feed, YouTube feed, like you're going to see the same ads over and over and over. There's a reason, because they're trying to get the amount of touch points up, the familiarity, the trust. So yes, reach out 5 different ways, because there may be a way that I prefer to really communicate, because personally I prefer email, just because I can respond at my speed, versus I don't like LinkedIn. It's notifications, whatever. But yeah, the more is better. You're not bothering us. We're all in business. We all know the game. We all respect it. So don't worry about that.
One last question, if I can. Once somebody
Sure.
tells me I've marked you as preferred, is it then appropriate to ask for the scheduler's contact information? Because I'm learning that, again, like to your point, like you're not the person that I need to ask or like, engage with for signings. It's more so going to be your team or your schedulers, probably whoever's handling that. Is that an appropriate follow-up email or question? Or if you're marked preferred, you're just marked preferred and that's it?
You are, from the back end, once you're marked preferred, once anything in your zip code within 20, 30, 40, 50 miles, you're going to be at the very top of that list. Unless someone who else is also preferred, has more signings for us and has more experience, then they're slightly ahead of you, but it's a very, very, very short list generally. So no, you're good to go, but it never hurts to follow up and have either schedulers email. Really, most of the time it's going to be a team inbox that schedulers and the ops manager will all kind of have access to.
Cool. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Tiffany, you're back up.
Hello again. Okay, I have a couple for you. So
Sure.
while I have you, I'm gonna shoot them out. So I know you mentioned you do like Tuesday emails, and then you do your like prospect emails. My first question is, what do you believe should be in the prospect email? I don't want to come off as annoying. I don't want to come off as, saying, oh, I'll keep this short. And then like I ramble off into paragraphs or even a long paragraph. Like, how do you simplify your value that you bring so that they can read the email, they click it, and they respond without coming across as like, hey, by the way, I'm still here, or like, hey, by the way, because like I'm in New York. Sometimes people are gonna read right through that and be like, this person is just trying to get something. What should be in there so that it's coming across like I am, obviously trying to build the relationship, and I'm not trying to just be annoying, but like I do want you to like actually read it, and see where this could go.
So good question. So again, keep it very short and bullet point. You're not going to annoy someone with the email I just showed you. It takes 20 seconds to read.
Yeah.
Okay. So keep it short. So respect for their time. 2, You have to add value. So there's a couple ways to do it. So the biggest piece is going to be being empathetic to what they experience on a day-to-day basis. You always have to, before you write these emails or shoot these videos on the topics you want to talk about, it's always what is a real problem they have. So if they are an escrow officer and they have built their relationship and now it's time to close and it can't be at 3 closings at once, they have to hire someone or have a signing service hire someone. What are the problems they face? And you already know the answer. You already know the problems. Not communicating, jacked up docs, blah, 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 blah. There's a long list of ways notaries jack stuff up. That's if there's 15 different ways notaries jack docs up or 20 different ways, that is the problem. You have to speak to that solution. And you don't have to write, you know, if there's 52 weeks in a year, 52 different emails, write 15 emails. And like I said, send the same one. Email week
okay.
1 is now the same email you're sending in week 16. Like it's the same thing. But again, it's part of it is timing when they receive it. If they receive the email, but there's 0 fires in their kitchen, they're like, whatever. But if they receive the email and they just had a fire, you are the first person they're calling. But as far as the subject matter, has to be speaking to their problems, as long as it's about them. This is like the same thing when we're having a conversation in person. Always ask questions about them. Newer notaries, and I did this too when I first started, always do the, I have $1 million that you know. I have a printer in my car. I have blah, blah, blah. No one gives a crap. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all about how can I, we're all doing the so what question in our brain. So what? So what? Who cares? Who cares? Until you tell me how you are a benefit to me. So that's the emails always have to be, how am I solving a potential problem for you? Here's how I do it. I understand that you deal with crappy notaries that jack your docs up, that delays funding. Here's how that never happens with me. Blah, 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 bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, done. Next email. I understand that you have notaries that show up late. That's absurd. I show up 15 minutes early, and I also send you a text when I do, so you know I'm there. And then as soon as I'm done, I send you a text so you know that I'm done. And when scans are like whatever it is, emphasize. I always say that wrong, but emphasize. Whatever.
Yeah,
feel for them. Feel for them, and that's how you craft the email about them. If you make it about them, no one will be annoyed. Yeah. They'll be intrigued, or they'll be, you know, like this week it doesn't really do anything for me because I'm no fires. But again, that's why I do it every week, because at some point they'll have a fire, matter of time. So always craft it toward them, period. And as far as adding value, another nugget I'll give you is that usually I am friends with underwriters, Fidelity, Old Republic, etc. So they would typically have weekly or monthly or quarterly trainings to add value to their title clients. I share those trainings because I follow them on social or email or whatever. And whenever they pop up, I share them with my clients. Hey, and my prospects. By the way, my man Tim Hooper from Fidelity, he's a sales coach for title clients. He's doing his monthly call where he's giving one sales tip, blah, blah, blah. Here's how you register for the call, blah, blah, blah. And again, it's about them. It's about adding value to them. Here's how you get more business. Here you go, free resource. Here you go. So it's a combination of those. Most of my emails are, here's a free resource I have for you to help you potentially get more business. You're welcome. And then the other emails are, here's a problem I know you have, and here's how we solve that. That's it. I just go back and forth between the two. So whenever I can add value, I always put that in. But, and the rest of the time, it's, here's how I can solve those problems for you.
Okay. Now, my last question, you know, I'm in like Maryland, which is funny because I'm actually in Maryland right now, Brad, which is hilarious. But so my question is, I'm an attorney light, right? So sometimes I am going to get people that are like, oh no, you know, I wouldn't send anybody but an attorney to the closing. And then sometimes you're going to get title that's like, oh yeah, hey, send me your information. How do you get out of the general inbox and get somebody specific to open, click, and respond, you know, and then like that?
Okay. How are you getting the general email? From their website?
No, I call, I speak to the receptionist, maybe the person who specifically that I'm trying to get to is not in office or on a call. Like I'll try and call back. They're still on a call. They're out on vacation. I get automated responses. It's kind of like all over the place, depending on the office. But sometimes people are like, oh yeah, just send it here and it'll go to everyone. And it's like, well, I'm not trying to get to everyone. I'm trying to get to this person, or I'm trying to like get it reviewed by this specific team. Like, how do I do that?
Walk in. get the business card off the front desk. There's usually a stack of 6 to 10 of them. Walk in, that's the number one. Number two, when you call, you can just live in the gray area and be like, hey, I'm thinking about, selling my house. A realtor friend of mine said that whoever you're trying to talk to is a really good title agent I should probably work with. What's their email? I wanted to ask them a question.
Maybe that's what I should do, because sometimes
Or
like
their website.
Yeah.
Usually contact team, they'll have them there. One of the three.
Yeah, because
Either way
sometimes the
works.
hardest part is like, especially when I'm in the city, is getting past the doorman downstairs. Because sometimes these offices are in like, way up, and you have to basically know someone up there. They have to call and make sure that you're supposed to be there, and
Yeah,
then
it's
they'll set you
easier.
up.
It's easier in those instances when I'm walking in with a marketing basket, because the security guy, when I say, hey, I'm going to XYZ title company or attorney's office, they assume I'm a realtor and I'm bringing a closing gift.
Got it.
It's a
Okay.
lot easier to get past. And then even if they don't, and they call, they say, who, you need to know who to specifically ask for. Yeah, when you walk in, act like you've been there 1,000 times before. Yeah, I'm going to XYZ title company. I'm here to see Joanne. That's it.
Okay.
And the call up, blah, 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 here to see Joanne. They'll be confused. But the point is, if the security guy or girl is calling up the title office and saying, this person is here to see this specific person, if that specific person's in the office, they're going to let them up because they're going to assume that they have an appointment or that you know them.
Okay. I will take that. Thank you.
Yeah, use all the ninja moves to get past.
That's what I'm saying. That's the hardest part. Like getting in front of them. Like, goodness, it's like a circus.
Yeah, for me, that's not a hard part. I'm just relentless. I'm getting there. Like, it is what
I'm
it
trying
is.
to be relentless. Listen, now we're gonna get there. Thank
Yep.
you.
So, my pleasure. And then again, the backdoor way is to follow up on social media, DM them. I don't know whether it's like 80 or 90% of DMs get answered, whether that's a DM or a text. Send it to them on Instagram, Facebook, text,
I know you
whatever.
don't like TikTok, but I've seen TikTok like really moving, Brad.
Yeah, I'm sure TikTok has the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Marcia, you're up.
Hello, thank you, Brad, for today and for the quick response to my email yesterday. I really appreciate it. I wanted to ask about office hours for signing services. I know I'm trying to build my business while I'm working a full-time job. And so everyone says call, 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 but how late are signing services taking calls? Because we can only call so many on our lunch break.
Pretty late
yeah.
because we have signings in the evening. I mean, we literally have closings. We're taking calls up until 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night every single day, Monday through Friday, because if I have a 7, 8, 9 o'clock closing, like I'm East Coast, if I have a 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock closing in California, it's not even going to finish until 10 o'clock my time. I won't get scans till 11 o'clock. I won't be talking to the notary to correct whatever until 11:30. Yeah, all day.
Okay, great. Well, that's good to know. And then lastly, I have a lot of large title companies in my area, and they require fidelity approval. And since I'm new to the industry, is a solution for that when direct marketing to refer them to someone like you who is fidelity approved as a signing service and say I work with, in conjunction with a fidelity approved signing service? Is that a good solution?
Yeah, so I would definitely say, and again, I got a lot of emails. Did I reply to you, or was it the team inbox reply to you? I did. Okay. See, you all can see how we get a lot of emails a day.
It may have been the team.
It's probably the team. Although I do recognize your name for sure. You say you have a lot of requiring fidelity approval. Are you in Northern California, Oregon, or Washington State?
Texas.
Oh, you're in Texas. Where in Texas? Dallas?
Outside of Austin.
Okay, Austin. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so there are trust me, there are a ton of independents there that are not Fidelity owned. And and the reason I know is because my first salesperson was from Dallas.
Yeah.
And so I have a ton of Texas clients now. And there are a few that are Fidelity. So don't let that stop you. Just go wider. But to answer your specific question, yes, 100%. Yes, you can request you can request me through and just ask them, like, what signing service do you use? Perfect. Right. Now, if they're Fidelity requiring that, they are probably owned by Fidelity, or they're not aware they can choose whoever they want, which means they're probably still using Fidelity's recommended short list of signing service, which is BankServe, Closing Exchange. There's one of them on SnapDocs called the Notary Inc., and there's a fourth one I'm not recalling right now. But And that's okay. You can do that. But my other coaching would be just go wider as far as direct marketing. There's plenty of Texas business out there for sure. You have to drive a little farther to get to it, but potentially, but yeah.
Is there a way to identify them without calling them and asking them or walking in the door? I mean, some of them you can see it on their website, but if they don't have it on their website, is there a list of them anywhere?
Good question. Good question. I mean, you can see Fidelity there, but just because they use Fidelity as an underwriter doesn't mean that they're a Fidelity-owned company. Fidelity has the most market share in the country, so half the title companies in the country use Fidelity at least as one of their underwriters because of their reputation and their expertise. But that could also be potentially a blow-off move. Oh, they got to be Fidelity approved. Like, again, unless they're owned by Fidelity, that is not the case. A Fidelity client that isn't owned by Fidelity itself can choose whoever they want, both as a signing agent and as a signing service owner. The only people that are required to use Fidelity are title companies that are actually owned in the umbrella of Fidelity, which is not a huge number, honestly, compared to everybody else. But as far as a list, I don't have one. I'm sorry. If someone can recommend, feel free to drop it in the chat. Anybody's got thoughts on that. But yeah, I would definitely leverage it to find out who they use and say, yes, you can absolutely hire me through BankServe, which is probably going to be the answer they're going to give you. But in the meantime, I would just go to the next one.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, my pleasure. Monica Diaz, you are up.
Hi, how are you, Brad?
Good, good. How can I help?
Well, you probably heard of this question many times, but I have a full-time job, and I know you're not here to encourage anyone to leave their job, but in a sense you did, but that was in 2020. You saw. But I wanted to ask you, what would you advise someone that really wants to move on from what they're doing from the corporate world to get into the business with loan signing and other areas of notarization? What will be the top 3 things that I can do or anyone can do to be able to move on from their current full-time job? I feel that my job, in a sense, is holding me back from, it's taking a lot of, especially draining me a lot of energy because I work 9 to 5. When I get home, I'm like, I'm saying to myself, how am I going to do loan signings when I'm so exhausted at the end of the day? But I don't want to make excuses. I'm willing, actually, to even take a few days off, maybe a certain time period off, in order to kind of get myself out there, get the experience on doing some signings, because I really need not to feel how I'm feeling at the end of the day, which is exhaustion. So what would you say I could do? The top 3 or whatever tips that you can provide for someone asking this question.
Sure. Well, you can watch that video I just dropped in the chat. It was like 20 minutes long that addresses this exact subject later. But
yes,
the highlights are, the only thing holding you back is the person in the mirror, honestly, Monica. And this is for everyone on the call. That includes myself. The only person that holds me back in my day-to-day business is me. And so whether I'm, for me, the reason I quit like that was because I was so tired of working for someone else. And I was a GM, so I was running I was running people's businesses for 22 years. The nice thing is it paid me a lot to learn lessons, but I couldn't do things the way I wanted to. So the point was, my why was very strong. And then it just got compounded because COVID happened. And then my daughter was born. So it was like, okay, great. Now I am not seeing my daughter, who's newborn. I'm missing out on get-togethers for family that are happening basically every weekend or every other weekend. And I'm missing out on too much. And I want control. And so my whys were like, F this, I would do whatever I can. So even before I did this, I flipped houses for a year. And then COVID happened. And of course, that would have been my escape. But number one is, and you'll see it in the video, really focus on your whys. Have multiple whys. And have a whiteboard that I look at every day with your goals of your whys that are staring you in the face, that you literally, as soon as I wake up, 6 in the morning, feed the dogs, come downstairs, first thing I'm doing is looking at my whiteboard about my goals and writing my weight. And that way I stay accountable. And then I start my normal, things I do. But So it's top of mind. You're constantly reminded, because what will happen is if you're complacent, you don't have anything really to make you uncomfortable, you will continue to do what you are doing. You will accept everything you've been accepting. Whatever you're paid now, it's because you deserve it, because you accept it every single day. So if you want more, you have to become more. So focus on the whys is the biggest thing, because that will constantly, if you're reviewing it every day and really not just reading the words, but really take a second to read the words and feel what that makes you feel. So if you're pissed off because you don't like, what is it for you? Like, what's one of the main reasons you don't want to work for someone else? Just fire it out there.
Because for several years, I've always been entrepreneurial. And some of the business that I've done in the past were fine, but not, let's say, enough to get me out of the corporate world. I just, like everyone, pretty much wants that flexibility in life. And I'm also frustrated with just working for somebody else. It's not going to pay off, it's not. And so I felt by getting into this business, it's such a needed service. It's such a needed service. It's not just something like, I started a business selling these widgets and that, whatever. It's not, it might end very quickly, so this is what I do love about this business, because it is needed. And when you're trained, you're there to help. So that's why, that's pretty much my answer to your question.
All right. Well, I'll push back as Mark will. You said your flexibility. Flexibility for what? Why do you want to have flexibility? What do you want to do with that time?
With my time
right now, what would you be doing?
Well, basically to kind of like focus on myself and my family and not feel like I have to, in a sense, be concerned about asking for time off.
Who would you be spending more with your family? Who would you
with
be
my family, for myself?
Who specifically in your family would you be spending more time with?
Basically, it would be with my parents.
Okay.
And also having time for myself and not feeling exhausted because of the routine. The routine is getting to me, and sometimes just doing, what I do every day can take that energy out of me. And then at the end of the day,
it's soul sucking.
Exactly, that's it.
Why do you want to spend more time with your parents?
Where they're older, and also because I just want to enjoy my life more overall. I feel there's something in me that is saying that is kind of like needs to for me to enjoy my life as well, to have the flexibility. Like I said, one of the strongest things is that I feel that I have to explain, or maybe not explain, but also like kind of like almost plead for time off, because somebody else in a sense says like, oh, you know what, and they kind of give you a certain look or whatever. It's like as if you're asking for too much.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have experienced that. It is not just,
I agree. I think everyone on the call has probably been there at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's got to start with, you have to have a burning desire to change. I can tell you the X's and O's of how to do it, but if you don't have the fuel to push you day in and day out, it's not going to matter, because you'll just, one week you'll be pumped up, next week, they'll treat you good at the job, and you're like, I can keep doing this for a little bit longer. Like, so focus on your whys, and how to do that. A really good exercise is your 7 levels of why. Why do I want to quit my job? Remember, I kept asking you why. Okay, you gave me an answer. Perfect. So if your answer was to have more flexibility, second level of why question, why do I need more flexibility? Think about that and answer it. Then whatever that answer was, third question, why do I need to spend more time with my parents? And because they're getting older. Okay, fourth question, why is it important I spend more time with my parents as they're getting older? And then it's going to get deeper and more emotional, and you actually get beyond below the surface level stuff, and you'll get to the real reason that really, really motivates you. And you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, working for someone else. Those like answers 5, 6, and 7 are going to be the most raw answers you want. And those are the whys you want on your whiteboard to read every day, because whatever it is for you, like for me, it's, I want to leave a legacy for my kids and my grandkids who I haven't even met yet. I want to never say no to my wife and my kids for whatever they want in their life, because, I want to feel like I've actually realize my potential in life, instead of just, getting to the end of my life and all the things I could have done, but never tried to do. Like, whatever it is for you, you have to find those raw answers, look at them every day, and to keep the fuel going. And the X's and O's are watch the video. that I'll drop on YouTube, but it's just literally about utilizing the time you do have, the lunch breaks, the evenings, pay time off, vacation time, weekends, to do direct marketing, on the phone call marketing, open house marketing, networking marketing, you know,
Yeah.
to do that. Those are the X's and O's. But to me, it always starts with the fuel is why are you doing this? But yeah, any specific like X's and O's questions, a lot of it's in the video, but yeah, of course, whatever I don't have, feel free to ask here, and then also ask anytime in that group that we have on a weekly basis or monitoring.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
My pleasure. Tiffany.
I just forgot to lower my hand. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Laura.
I have another question about Google Business Profiles.
Sure.
They offer the $500 free ads. First of all, I wanted to know if you thought that that was a good idea or not, or if somehow, if I don't get a certain amount of business from those ads, they're going to send me a $500 bill at the end of this year or something like that. And any other optimization tips you might have for that, like just little things like nugget tips, like for example, the bio, how much to share in the bio, things like that.
Yeah, so Google Ads, run Google Ads for multiple businesses. For this specific signing agent business, if they're giving you the $500 free trial, which I always do, it's always a helpful exercise to learn how to do it. It's a skill. And so I would not discourage you from trying to do it and setting up the trial and turning it off once the $500 credit is gone. Especially at the beginning, because your Google My Business profile isn't going to be ranking in the top 3 or the 3-pack organically, usually, unless you're in a really rural area and not a lot of competition. So if that's the case and you're not already in the 3-pack, yeah, use that free trial and to get other eyeballs to you when people are typing in the key phrases like notary near me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then turn it off. Normally, would I run it? No, I would focus more on the Google My Business, because the people that are going to try to find you are typically going to Google and typing in their search phrases. So ranking organically in the 3-pack is more important. Mark has training on this, but really it's all about being super detailed in the listing itself, as far as, again, keywords, especially if you have a website, the keywords that are matching your website and your listing, so that Google knows that you're a legit business. The more you show up consistently, the more they recommend you and push you. The reviews is super critical. Just having those reviews as much as humanly possible, replying to the reviews. And then Google My Business, a lot of people won't do, and again, it's Mark's training. I'll defer to that for more details, but posting, no one ever posts on their Google My Business profile. So if you do, you're going to stand out. And again, add another metric where you're going to stand out among your competition, so that Google may recommend you above others that had more reviews than you. But yeah, I would say definitely really robust profile as far as filling it out. Keyword rich combined with a website that is also matching keyword rich will help push you above people as you're building your reviews. And use the free trial for Google Ads, because it's a free $500. And it's usually, it's going to be very cheap, because the keywords you're talking about are super cheap. $1 a click, $2 a click, you know, especially in your area, because no one else is running Google Ads for notary work. So why not?
Okay. Yeah. Did you say rich? Add a keyword.
Rich. Keyword rich, meaning a lot of keywords. You know, so again, check out Mark's training, but signing agent, notary public, notary signing agent, loan signing agent, APUS, whatever it is you do, general notary work, power of attorney, wills, limited, like whatever, divorce file, like everything you can, anyone could possibly search for a notary that you will do, make sure it's in there for sure. That way it'll hit.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Marcia.
Okay, on email, do we need to have a paid encryption service that provides more security than the Google Business Gmail?
I don't think so.
Okay. I had a signing service ask me to text them a picture of the signer's driver's license. Is there any type of security issues around that? I know in the training, Mark said have the client email the signing service. They didn't want that. They wanted it to come from me to prove that I was at the location.
Did they not? I'm assuming they weren't using a platform or one-off signing service.
I loaded the copies of the ID in the platform when the signing was complete. Yes.
Okay. And they wanted you to text them as well,
They
in
wanted
addition
me to
to?
text the front of the ID when I arrived and then
Interesting.
upload the copies of front and back.
Super random.
Is that okay? I wasn't sure.
You'll probably never get this request again, so it won't really matter.
Okay.
But,
All right.
yeah, I mean, like, my short answer is take care of your client, whatever your client needs, always do it, and then, you know, maybe not work with them again if you weren't comfortable.
Okay. Thank you.
I wouldn't focus too much on it, though. You're welcome.
Bye.
Tiffany?
Yes, I have one more question. I was just in the chat, like I can't think of any others, but I just thought of one. I've been in a part-time notary for about a year now, right? I'm pushing about 100 under my belt. So I'm very comfortable. You know, my question is, how do you go about negotiating with services that you've worked with? You know, because I'm transitioning into full-time, meaning like I still have my signing service clients. Like I do want to add direct clients in there. I don't think I'm at the point where I want to give up my signing service clients because, you know, there's a lot of work in my city through them, you know. So my question is, how do you negotiate that with like buyers packages? Because sellers packages are kind of like finite in terms of what services can add.
Specifically, how to negotiate the fees?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, give me 1 second. All right, watch that video.
Sent it? Cool.
And the short answer is, with tact, professionally communicate whenever you're negotiating. Always asking, you know, it's up to you. But to answer the really thing you touched on a second ago was about transitioning. I have another video on that, of course, but when you're transitioning from signing service to more direct work, you have to start saying no to signing services to have time to market to direct. So learning that skill of saying no, so that taking that one step back, you know, not getting those 3 $80 appointments so that you can get 15 or 10 $150 appointments is really how you should look at it. But as far as negotiation, again, you can ask for what you ask for. They're willing to pay it. They're willing to pay it, but sometimes they're not. For me, I mean, I tell my schedulers, it's going to be vary company to company, but look, they actually have a profit bonus that they get paid on. They get 2 bonuses, a sales bonus whenever we have a record month. So they get that pretty much every month. And then a profit bonus. And the profit is if you hit X amount of gross profit, which is very in their control. It's what I invoice my clients and what they pay the notary. They hit this percentage, they get another bonus. But they also have the caveat. I tell them, I'm not telling you hire the cheapest person. I'm saying when you can,
Yeah.
and the experience is relatively equal, hire the one that costs less. Duh, it's a business. We're here for profit. So you can ask for whatever you want to ask for. And if I'm desperate, I'm going to pay it. Meaning it's the same day. It's rural. You know, it's complicated, you know, whatever
in
it
an
is.
hour. Yeah.
Yeah. So just know, as a signing agent, you have more leverage in those situations so that you're more likely to get someone to accept your fee at that point.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Laura, did you still need to lower your hand or do you have another question?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me just lower my hand. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Just double checking. Okay, cool. I'm just going to scroll right through the chat and then we will wrap it up. Cool. Looks like we are good on the chat. Michael, yes, sir.
All right. Last question for me anyway.
Sure.
Marketing. Let's say I get a signing from you, and the signing is actually for a title company in my area. How do you like that? Feels like a really big gray area when it comes to direct marketing. Like I wouldn't be marketing to the title officer, you know, when I drop off the documents or whatever. But is it okay with you if I come back on like another day and, you know, market to the office or market to other title officers in the office? Like, is that like crossing a line, or how does that work? I don't know. It's a
So
tough one for me because I don't want to like cross a moral line, you know?
were you on
But
this call last week?
yes, I was.
You saw Irene's answer to this, right?
Yes. I want to get your perspective
My
on it.
answer is basically the same.
Same.
There's very
Okay.
tactful ways to do it, and there's very stupid ways to do it, in my opinion. So if you walk in and market directly to my client from doing one of my signing service appointments, clearly that's a real dumb way of doing it because you're going to get a lot of negative feedback. Worst case or best case, you'll just get blacklisted and then you won't work with me. But yeah, there's tasteful ways to do it. But look, I've had other notaries that do a ton of work for me in the past say, hey, I'm marketing in the area. You know, how do you feel about me marketing to, and I've only had that call twice in 3.5 years. But at least they were nice enough to reach out to me. And because they reached out to me and we had the conversation civilly, I was like, do your thing, see what happens.
Okay.
You know, because the clients are going to be different. Clients either are willing to separate me out just and hire someone locally for the local stuff, which most clients prefer that, someone that could physically pick up and physically drop off. You need a good Rolodex of 1 or 2 or 3 solid people locally around you for that purpose. And then where I really add value is everything beyond that. But again, how you do it is really going to come down to, you know, the best way. So for me, if you ask permission, you're probably better off in most cases, would be my suggestion.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. My pleasure. All righty. Well, I appreciate everyone being on the call. Ask any questions that this has elicited in our group that we'll respond to all of us, all the ambassadors throughout the week. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully I've given you at least one nugget to hopefully help you in your business in some way. If I did, I have accomplished my goal. And if you need a whole lot of other information, feel free again to check out the channel because there is a ton of stuff there. All right. Thank you all for being here. Enjoy your Saturday and appreciate you all. Until next week's call, which is Deborah Smith Owens. Again, been doing it longer than me, nicer person than me, super knowledgeable, and attorney state expertise. So if you want really attorney specific questions, her direct approach, she is the one. So highly encourage you to show up to that. And until next time, I will see y'all in the group.
Thank you.
Deuces.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.